What's up guys, Chris here, back with the new APS CAM870 series video. In this one we are going to be reassembling the bolt. So we have the bolt body itself, bolt plate, carrier dog interface plate thingy, extractor spring, bolt plate screws, extractor pin, firing pin, pin. Let's see, part. Firing pin spring, firing pin, shell alignment firing pin cup, and the bolt locking block. And this again is a new third-party part. I'll put a link in the description to their Facebook page. You can private message them if you're interested in one of these. Unfortunately, the bolt requires press fitting because we're going to be press fitting the shell alignment cup onto the firing pin on here. And in my modification video I mentioned that I had beveled the tip, or I'm sorry, tapered the tip of the firing pin just a little bit so that we can get the shell alignment cup started. And it's actually going to go all the way back like so. So when the firing pin end and the cup are aligned on the front, it's in position. And to do this press fitting, I'm going to be using a vise. And I'll put a link in the description to APS's own official video on how that's done, because I honestly don't feel comfortable with how it's put together. Press fitting parts is like really not a good thing in my opinion. But anyway, we are going to be taking the plate parts and putting those to the side for now. We're going to take the extractor and extractor pin, put it to the side. So what we're left with is these parts right here. So the first thing you want to do that I actually, this is the third time I'm doing this video recording, the bolt locking block or stopping block needs to go in first. Then you need to put your spring on the firing pin. Let's see. Put the firing pin into the bolt. And here's the crucial part. This flat-faced surface needs to be pointing 90 degrees or parallel to the bolt's right hand side, because if we push this in and take a look in this hole where the firing pin retaining pin goes, if that's not aligned, you won't be able to get the pin through. So it needs to be perfectly flush like that. Now here's a trick I'm going to share with you. Before we try to press fit the spring cup on here, we're going to be temporarily inserting the firing pin retaining pin. This ensures that the firing pin is in the correct orientation, because on this shell alignment cup there is a bit of a slant on one of the sides. It's not super noticeable, but the slanted edge, you can see if this is flat, the bottom half has a little bit of an angle to it. That needs to be facing down towards this surface, right? So by putting the firing pin in with the pin retained and having the taper on the firing pin, if we then, let's see, I mean, this is so friggin' tricky. can barely see it myself. Yeah, like this. So that's the bottom edge. That is, I think. I mean, this is shit. Yeah. So the bottom, like, third has this little slant to it. That needs to be facing down. I'm gonna do this off camera so I get it done properly. Okay. I mean, since I've beveled the edges here of the alignment cup, it's very difficult to see. Hopefully you'll be able to figure that out yourselves. Anyhow, we can actually, I just realized we can leave this pin in, because what we need to do now is mount this in the vise and press. Well, actually, no, it's better to take the pin out, because we want this surface flush. So pretty much, even though the firing pin can now rotate freely, since the end is tapered and the alignment cup is on there, it's going to rotate with the firing pin. But when we try to press fit this together, we want this to be the flush edge and pushing on this back end. Whew. I really don't like doing this, I have to tell you. Alright, so I've got it started in my excuse me, in my vise. And there's not really much to it other than we need to bring these two parts together, and when it stops, or when you're done, is when the front edge of the firing pin and the top edge of the shell alignment cup are flush with one another. So I'm gonna try and bring this home, and I'll get back to you in a second, hopefully with a press fitted bolt. Okay, I made it, I think, I hope. I had to remove my plastic brackets here for the final push, because the metal is kind of sinking into that. But basically, what the end result should, let's see, should kind of look like is this. The front edge of the firing pin should be aligned with the frontmost edge of the alignment cup. So now it's just a matter of lining up this and putting the pin in. And on my pin, this is actually deformed a little bit on some of the edges. You can see there's a bit of a flat edge. So I'm going to try and match that with the flat part of the firing pin. There we go. And obviously when you're done, you want there to be no binding of the firing pin coming up. And also in this position, the topmost part of the shell alignment cup should be pretty close to flush with the bolt face. It's a little bit off, but acceptable, right? Whew. God damn, I really don't like doing that. So now, onto the extractor. Looks like this. We have a larger cutout back here, which is where the spring sits. And this is the actual part that hooks onto the shell rims. Let me show you real quick. That's how that looks. At least I think. Or is it the other way around? Let me see. No, I was right. The bigger hole goes towards the back to fit the spring. So we want to drop the spring in this hole, like so. Get your extractor, put the spring in there, keep it in place, get the pin started in here, and then it's pretty much just a matter of wiggling this around until the pin drops through. And we want to make sure the pin is not sticking up at the top, but also that it's not coming out too much at the bottom. So that's a good fit right there. And we can tell that we have a nice springy action. And the shell, let's see if I can, that's pretty much what it looks like when the shell is caught on the extractor. Whoop, and that pin just came out. God damn it. I was actually thinking about replacing these with roll pins because I'm not too comfortable with how these can move about freely, but that's something for another day. So at this point, what we have left is we want to put the, let's see, this interface is, it only goes in one way. Let's see here. I do believe it's like this. Yeah. It has it's kind of like a CPU chipset that it only goes in one direction. And then you slot these two together, like so. And we simply put in the screws and we are done. Alright, so the screws are now in place for the bolt plate. I put a little bit of Loctite on both of those just to keep it nice and secure. So yeah, this is our bolt reassembled. In the next video, we are going to be reassembling the entire rifle. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.